Hey guys, Adrienne here from Adventures with Carlienne, and today we're going over our favorite thing in the whole world, ice cream. So we've tried making ice cream before with varying success, but we're super obsessed. One of our guilty pleasures is going to Target and hunting for the latest exclusive Ben & Jerry flavors, and we've tried like 59 flavors, which is kind of scary when I think about it. Anyways, today though, we're gonna stick to just one flavor, using 4 different methods, and then figure out which one we like best, and then go from there.
Alright, so let me explain these methods that we're going to be using today. And the first one is going to be a French custard. It's the most traditional. It's going to be using like egg yolks, and it's what everyone pretty much uses for their ice cream. But it's also one of the most challenging ones because you have to temper eggs, and tempering eggs, if you get it, too hot, you'll cook the eggs, you'll have scrambled egg yolk ice cream, and it's kind of gross. And the second one we're gonna do is called the Philadelphia style. I don't necessarily think it has anything to do with Philadelphia, but I think the origin of the name is that there were so many dairy farms in Philadelphia that supplied to these East Coast ice creameries, and yeah, that's why they made it, or they called it Philadelphia style. But anyway, it's pretty simple. You kind of combine everything and then you churn it. Very easy, kind of dumb proof. And yeah, the third one we're gonna be doing is called a Sicilian style. Now, I don't know if this is exactly like gelato. I know the ratio of cream to milk in gelato is quite different from the other. It's either even or the milk ratio is much higher than it is in the cream. The one difference that I found is that this style uses cornstarch as a thickener, and I think this one's gonna be pretty interesting. I don't know if I use cornstarch or a slurry to thicken sauces, do it in soups. A lot of American Chinese dishes have cornstarch saucy stuff, which kind of is gross. So I don't know how it's gonna come out, but I'm excited to try it. The last one is me and Adrienne kind of call it the uncooked French with a PH, because it's not a French custard, but it's also not a Philadelphia style, but it kind of combines the two. So you're using eggs, but you're not cooking them, which is why people are a little bit more hesitant. But we will be using pasteurized eggs, which we pasteurize ourselves, and we'll be doing another video on that. But yeah, so it uses that, plus you don't have to cook it, you just mix everything together, hence the Philadelphia PH Frenchy style that, we kind of combine the name. Kind of like our name, Carlienne, Carl Adrienne, French. Get it? Alright, so those are the 4 methods we're going to be doing. We're keeping sugar content the same. We're keeping pretty much everything the same, or as close to the original recipe. We're not putting any flavor. It's all going to be sweet cream flavored. So this should be really interesting, and yeah, pretty excited. So we're going to go ahead and get in the kitchen and get this going. All right, let's go. The first one we're making is the Philadelphia style ice cream base. Now you're gonna need heavy cream, whole milk, granulated sugar, and salt. And make sure everything that's touching the ice cream and the base is nice and cold or frozen. Now this one's really easy. You're just gonna combine all the ingredients together, and all it is just 2 cups of heavy cream, 1 cup of whole milk, 3/4 cups of granulated sugar, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now you can go straight to the churn on this one after adding all your flavors, but we're gonna go ahead and keep it cool and get to the next base. Now for this next one, we're going to do Sicilian style ice cream base, and you're going to need heavy cream, whole milk, sugar, cornstarch, and salt. The first thing we're going to do is heat up 1.5 cups of heavy cream and 1.5 cups of whole milk right in a pot. Please make sure you do not burn your milk. Next, combine all your dry ingredients, which is 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, 3/4 cup of sugar, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Mix it all together and go ahead and add a little bit of the warm liquid into this to make a little slurry. Now once that's all mixed, you're going to pour it back into the pot and go ahead and cook it until it's nice and thick. Once the mixture has thickened, you're gonna go ahead and take it out of the pot into a cooled container and into your fridge to cool down. Now you can also put it through a fine mesh sieve to make sure there's no cornstarchy globs in your mix. Next on the experiment, we're going to be making our uncooked French style base, French with a pH that is, and all you're going to need is heavy cream, whole milk, sugar, and whole pasteurized eggs. We're going to start off by cracking 2 eggs right into a bowl and whisking it till it's pale yellow. Then you're going to mix all the other ingredients right into the bowl and mix it together, which is 3/4 cups of sugar, 1 cup of whole milk, 2 cups of heavy cream, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then you're going to go ahead and cool this mixture, and you can also go straight to the churn if this is all. Now the final thing on this experiment is our French custard ice cream base, and all you're going to need is heavy cream, whole milk, sugar, egg yolks, and salt. We'll start by heating up 2 cups of heavy cream and 1 cup of whole milk in a pot on medium heat. Make sure you do not burn your milk mixture. Next, you're going to combine 6 egg yolks and 3/4 cups of granulated sugar. Now the next step is optional, but I like to take my pot of hot milk mixture right off the heat so it doesn't burn and pour some of it right into a little container, and then that way I can easily temper my eggs all by myself. If you have 2 people, I suggest you use 2 people. It's just much easier to ladle in some of that hot milk mixture into your eggs while you're whisking. You want to keep whisking because you do not want cooked eggs. Once your eggs have been perfectly tempered, you're going to add that egg milk mixture back into the pot and cook it until it reaches about 170 degrees. You definitely do not want to go over 180 because it will start to cook the eggs. Once it's there, you're going to take it off the heat, put it through a strainer right into your container and straight into the fridge to cool down before churning. Instead of going through our churning process, we're going to go straight into our thoughts, our feelings, our likes, dislikes, hopes, dreams, and goals about each of the bases that we made today. Okay, so here's what we think about all of the different methods that we made today. And first off, the Philadelphia style, it was, what'd you think of it actually?
I liked it a lot. I thought it was like pretty light compared to the other ones. If you ever had ice cream in Japan, it's a little bit more like soft serve compared to like ice cream here, but it's like nice, smooth, kind of light. I imagine it would be great for like fruity flavors or sort of the more mild stuff. It was all around a really good mix, great texture.
Mm-hmm. It really felt like old-timey for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's old-timey, all right? It's
like ice cream parlor shop, kind of like soda pop-ish era.
She gets me, man. She gets me. The next one, a Sicilian style. So this one, the thickener was cornstarch, which was really interesting for me. I honestly, off the bat, making the base, I was kind of hesitant. Like, I know, again, like cornstarch in sauces and soups. I get why, you know, you'd use it as a thickener, but it was just really odd as an ice cream base. It actually really surprised me. It was probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite. Like texturally, it was like really nice. The mouthfeel is just like gives you the flavor of the ice cream for a little bit longer. Like it doesn't disappear on you like super fast.
It was interesting too, because when you were making the base, like it thickened like immediately. And even before we churned it, when we were chilling it, it had a thicker already, like not custard quite consistency, but it wasn't like
honestly,
liquid
if you've
anymore.
ever made like chicken stock and then like put it in, and you put it in the fridge and the next day it's like completely like gelatin. That's what it came out of the fridge like. And then I was like, I don't know if I did this right. So yeah. Sicilian style, so far probably my number 1 pick. Uncooked pH French style base, and again that one is the one with eggs, but you don't cook it, so it's a little, you know, puts a little people off. But again, don't forget to pasteurize your eggs if you can,
or take the risk.
Live dangerously, your call. But yeah, what'd you think of it?
I thought that was like the happy medium. So like you have, you know, the Philly, which was like a lot lighter, cleaner, and then you had the Sicilian, which was like super heavy and thick. And then I felt like French was like a really good like medium. Like as a sweet cream, it had enough flavor for me, whereas the Philadelphia was like kind of like meh, kind of milky. And then, but the French actually had a little bit more flavor, and it had like just this like that perfect like ice cream break when you scoop
Yeah,
it,
when you
and you're just
scoop
like,
it.
oh, like that fluffy texture kind of. So when he was scooping it, I was like, oh, this must be the one. So I don't know. I thought like that was probably my favorite and what I would want to use making most flavors.
Yeah, I mean, like that and the Sicilian were pretty close in like on my list, and like since we love Ben and Jerry's ice cream, I know that this particular recipe is from their book, I believe. I looked it up, and it's actually Ben and Jerry's sweet cream base is like they use eggs and they don't cook it, and I've seen a lot of blogs where just like, wait, you don't cook this? How like
And we've been living in an oven.
yeah,
So.
and like people have been eating Ben and Jerry's for years, and they've
Yeah.
been making like these uncooked eggs, most likely pasteurized, but still uncooked, and people don't even know it. You know, it's crazy. But yeah, it's definitely like even Sicilian and PH French for me.
Yeah, it also even had like a great flavor when melted. So we like tasted all the ice creams like when they were churned, and then overnight, and or the next morning when it was frozen, and also when it like completely melted. And what was interesting about the PH French was like it was pretty milky and mild when it was frozen, but like when it melted, it had this really like sweet milky flavor, which I also liked because, you know, if you're gonna eat ice cream on a hot day, it's gonna melt on you, and it needs to taste good even when it's melted.
Yeah, that's well. If you're like my mom, she loves eating ice cream. That's like
Soup.
basically ice cream base.
Yeah.
She likes eating
Without
ice
the
cream.
churning.
So I could have just mixed it all together and just gave it to her. But like, yeah, there's just people that prefer a much, you know,
Wetter
soupy ice cream. All right, so the last method we did was the French custard. We're very familiar with this. It's the one that we always use. And honestly, it was the one that I least liked out of all of them, which is kind of funny. Like going into this experiment, I thought, okay, French custard is gonna like win, like regardless. But honestly, like once I tried the other three, I was a little put off about the like really in your face eggy flavor to it. That can also be human error. That could also be my ratios. I could try it with one less egg yolk maybe, but
And it could also just be if you flavored it, you wouldn't taste that at all.
Yeah.
But as a base and as like a sweet cream flavor, it was like a little bit more like eggnoggy or something. Not
Yeah.
even eggnoggy. I can't. It's like a very gently cooked egg flavor.
which technically you shouldn't be cooking the eggs, but I mean, yes.
Right? Like it's like.
There's an
not
egg
raw.
flavor. There's an egg flavor.
It's not cooked. It's not raw.
It's not raw,
like
but-
warmed. Sorry.
The worst explanation. But yeah, the color is just like, yeah, it's definitely more yellow, and that's just from the egg yolks. And maybe, I guess if you're adding flavor to it, you might not taste it, but there's still that flavor that your base has. Keep that in mind. Like if you're choosing this as a base, there's that flavor of that eggy flavor that you need to keep in mind when adding other flavors to it, because that'll like be much different than if you were to just put that same flavoring or whatever you're making into like a more neutral thing like any of the other three.
I think overall though, like texturally it was great, of course, and it has that like classic break in the ice cream and the great texture. So I think all the bases were good, solid ice cream recipes.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong, and it just becomes like personal preference on exactly how rich you want it, how, you know, light you want it, or what you're gonna pair in terms of flavors.
Yeah, that was our experiment. Like, we're pretty excited. We still are unsure. Like, we joked around saying that, well, we're kind of still back in square one because we don't know which one to pick. We honestly thought there would be a clear winner, but there really isn't. You know, even though PH French and Sicilian's on the top of my list, it's like a close 2, 3, and 4, like between all of them. So yeah, like we're probably gonna get back into it and dive into things more deeply and try the different methods with different flavors, just to see which one works better with what. And yeah, and hopefully we can make some pretty good ice cream. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed our little ice cream base experiment. Let us know what you think in the comments. If you guys like this stuff, please subscribe, click a bell, share with your friends. Let us know if you have any of your favorite ice cream flavors. And yeah, hopefully we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.